Now I want to deal with a very important concept in pawn endings, the distant passed pawn. I start a bit earlier in Karadarevich Kilibada in the queen endgame. Black to move can draw easily by checking on f4, king c3 and checking on c1. King d3 would now be a terrible mistake due to the skewer queen f1 check winning white's queen. And after king b3, black just checks with queen b1 check, and white's king cannot escape from the perpetual. The only way would be to play king d3 now, but then black just takes the pawns with check, and this is obviously no way for white to play for win. For instance, if he now would changes the queen with queen e2 check, then black can just go into the pawn endgame, and black can easily hold the it's not lost in the pawn endgame due to his own passed pawns. So this is certainly no play for a win for white. So after queen f4 check, the game is drawn, as white cannot escape from the perpetual check. But Kilibarda made a mistake. Queen d2 check. He probably calculated that he can win the b pawn with check now, but what he missed is that the resulting pawn endgame is completely lost due to white outside passed pawn a5, which is so distant from the king side that it diverts black's king all the way to the queen side, allowing white's king to win the d pawn and then go to the king side pawns and win them very quickly, much faster than black's king will be able to return. If black takes on f2 in this moment, then the resulting pawn endgame is also won. Black's king must now, of course, enter the... I should take green. Black's king must now enter the square of the a pawn, and then white will use his kingside pawns to devalue black's majority. Black's majority is now not able to create a passed pawn on its own. The only way to do it would be g5, and white controls it twice and black only once. And then white's king will advance to the center and white will win easily. But okay, Kilibara probably calculated queen takes here and saw that in this pawn endgame, due to white's weaknesses on the king side, he might be able to draw. But this is wrong. The distant outside passed pawn is worth far more. A very important concept in pawn endgames. You should remember it. Now f4 doesn't help much. Now the pawn reverts the king, and white just wins the pawn. After g5, white would also be much quicker than black. White threatens to advance via g5 to h6 and h7, but in case of h6, white just advances through the center. Okay, now white simply advances his kingside pawns first to cripple black's pawns and to be nearer the queening square. White's h-pawn is then nearer the queening square if a race arises. Yeah, now the race arises, but white is much quicker, of course. And in this moment he could have won very easily by just winning the h7 pawn with his king, and then winning easily. Instead, he made a terrible mistake. He played h5, thereby reducing his own winning potential. A very big mistake. You shouldn't make moves. You should make moves like this only with great care, as your winning potential is reduced to 3 pawns here already. Black took, and now the winning potential is reduced to 2 pawns, so doubled f-pawn, doubled. For the moment, black played the right moves, and now he resigned in this drawn position. Don't resign, just, if it's not clear, just play further moves, and you can resign later when it's completely clear that you are lost. But in this case, it's drawn. Black's king could have just have come back in front of the f-pawns. And then white cannot make any real progress. Black will draw relatively easily. So make sure that you're able to judge positions like this quickly and confidently. White wins due to his dangerous outside passed pawn, which diverts black's king, and then he is much quicker in the races, in the resulting races on the king side.